Hey, it's my vlog ride home. It's Monday, June 10th, as of date of recording. I don't know if I'll get it up tonight or not. We're still in Pride Month. We're about halfway through it. It's interesting. And I want to talk a little bit more about language. Last time I talked about pronouns and then semiotics. I want to talk about how meaning evolves. And I want to talk about that in a very specific context, in a very specific word. And that is bisexual. This is something that is very personal to me. I believe I mentioned before, I am bisexual. So this is one I do have literal skin in. So let's get started. What is the term bisexual? What does it mean? So, in a broad sense, as of date of recording, I guess, the term bisexual is understood to mean, in general practice, that one is attracted to one's own gender and to others who are not one's gender. This is not the meaning that it has always had for all people, nor do all people experience bisexuality this way. That is an evolution of its meaning. And in and out of the community, we get into this semantic argument about what does bisexual mean and how confusing it is. It's not. We have been expressing for a while what this means. It's not that difficult. It is no more difficult than somebody telling you their name is June and you call them June. It is no more difficult than understanding that through usage, the word literal has taken on an additional figurative meaning. It's a word, and like all words, their meanings change and fluctuate and adjust according to how they're used. And we bisexuals do have very personal and very important reasons why we hold on to that label. So, at one point, when I first understood that I was bisexual, I might talk about that at some point. I don't know yet, but I did at first identify it in terms of being attracted to men and to women. I didn't really have any knowledge at that time. I was in my early to mid-20s. I didn't really have any knowledge or understanding of other genders besides male and female. So I didn't have any other framework for defining my bisexuality. I didn't have any other experience for understanding my bisexuality. The people that I was attracted to were either men and identified as men, or were women and identified as women. Over the years, as I have become aware that yes, there are other genders, that these do exist, that they are reality, that they have their reality, I have, looked and said, okay, would I be attracted to this? I don't know. I have since discovered that, yes, I am. And that realization has made me expand my personal meaning of bisexuality, just as many other bisexuals have. my practice of my bisexuality has changed. And because for so many of us, that practice of our bisexuality has changed, that expression of it has changed, the meaning of the word has altered. That is not to say that all bisexuals are this way. There are bisexuals who might be attracted to cisgendered men and cisgendered women, or whatever. They may not have attraction to non-binary people. There's nothing wrong with that. There's not. As with any other sexual orientation, you don't have control over who you're attracted to. If you're experiencing attractions or not experiencing attractions organically and honestly, that's what you are or are not attracted to, period. And to say that somebody is a bigot because of this would be kind of silly, because we don't say that about any other sexual orientation who only is attracted to X thing. We don't call heterosexuals bigoted for not being attracted to the same sex. We don't call homosexuals bigoted for not being attracted to the opposite gender. At least we shouldn't be. I don't know of any time that anybody seriously has or has been taken seriously when making those accusations. But I have seen that tossed at bisexuals, and I have seen that accusation taken seriously. Like, I literally have. In groups that I am in on Facebook, of people talking and chatting and bringing up these discussions, if I went back, to those topics, I could find them and I could show them to you. It's discussions that I've literally seen. Who you are attracted to does not make you, in and of itself, a bigot or anything else. So, there you go. But yeah, because of how we have changed, how we have this desire and need to hold on to this label that we have identified with, the meaning of the word has changed. This is how language works. It's not a concept that is unique to the term bisexual. I'm pretty sure I brought up the word awesome when I was talking about pronouns, and I brought up literally, words like awesome, wonderful. These are words that their meanings have changed or subtly changed over time. There are a lot of words in the English language that, if you trace them back to their origins, they were used so differently than how we use them now. The difference is we weren't around for that transition of meaning where we are for a word like bisexual. This is what words do. And again, this is an organic change. This is people who identify this way, whose understanding of themselves have changed. Why do we hold on to the term bisexual? Well, when you have had people gatekeep your sexuality by telling you that you've not dated enough of whichever gender they think that you need to be dating more of in order to be considered bisexual, you're going to be reluctant to want to let go of it. When you hear so many times how hot it is that you're a bisexual because maybe you'll get a threesome, enough that you just kind of smile and nod and can't even remember which people say it to you, because you just kind of accept they're going to say it. When you constantly have to justify yourself to people that you're not just a slut, that you're not flaky, that you're not confused, that you're not going through a phase, that you're not going to flirt with somebody just because you're bisexual or try and steal somebody away, and that you're not a homewrecker, just going to use someone, that you're not going to walk away from someone the moment that, the other gender wiggles its butt at you. All of the biphobic, bi-erasure, all the gatekeeping that is bisexuals we go through. No, we're not going to let go of that term, because that term is tied to an identity that we've had to fight for. And it becomes not just an identity, but a political statement to hold it. To go, no, this is me. I fought for this. I have defended myself and argued myself, philosophized myself. This is who I am. And you're going to accept that the meaning of that word expands as I need it to expand. That's it. But if you don't want to accept that, yes. Bi means two. All right. Well, I have two groupings for you. Grouping A is my gender, and grouping B is not. I'm bisexual. And any bisexual who gives you that definition is bisexual. They don't need you to philosophize them. They don't need you to define them. They don't need you to argue with them about the meaning of the term that they have been using for as long as they have understood this about their sexuality. They just need you to go, okay, that's cool, and move on. The semantic arguments, they get old, and it gets old because we have it over and over again. In one of my groups, we had this semantic argument a few days ago. That's why I wanted to make this video. I guarantee you next year, for Pride, we'll have it again. We'll probably have it before then. I won't be surprised if the question of, if you're not attracted to X, are you a bigot, will probably come up again. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe it won't. Maybe people in certain communities have moved past that. We'll see. And by certain communities, I don't mean people actually affected by bigotry. I mean collective communities that contain people from all sorts of walks of life. So, yeah. I want to say it's silly because it's something that you want to minimalize down to not being significant because you don't want it to be significant. You don't want people gatekeeping you. You don't want people denying or misrepresenting you or discounting you, or pretending like you don't exist, because you do, and nobody else gets to define you, and you don't need someone else's approval to be what you are. So there you go. How does language evolve? Language devolves, or language evolves. There we go. I can talk now. How does language evolve? Language evolves by its usage changing over time. The usage of bisexual has changed. It's time you start listening. That's dour, isn't it? So, like I said, I probably won't be doing a follow-up theory video because I've pretty much talked about etymology, and I already talked about semiotics. But, this is language. So, that's an English thing and a writery thing. I don't know. I'll probably talk about Harry Potter soon. I'm only a few chapters in to rereading Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone if you're British, and or I guess anybody not American. I know what a Philosopher's Stone is too. But no, I'm just to the point where they were in the shack in the storm, and Hagrid has showed up. So I don't know yet what lens we're going to be actually analyzing this through. I didn't really walk into it with a lens in mind. Like, when I get to Goblet of Fire, I know where I'm going to be looking at that. Probably post-colonialism, mostly because of the whole thing with the house elves. I'll be saving psychoanalytics for Snape in the later books. I don't really know where I want to start in the series. No one is just speaking to me at this point. Once I get further into the books, I think I'll know what lens is either present or would give me more insight into the book. But it's as fun reading it now as it was the first time I read it. I enjoyed the books a lot. They're fun to read. I discovered them when I was an adult. I didn't grow up with Harry Potter. I was well into adulthood, and I was working at a brokerage firm, and one of my managers, who was older than me, was reading the books, and I don't remember how I discovered he was reading them. I don't remember if I mentioned it because I saw something about it, or what, but he had talked up the books. He just loved them, and so, but it was a while still before I had started reading them, and so yeah, it's enjoyable to read them. It's a lot of fun. So I think it'll be a fun project to do, to talk about them in the different lenses. I had a lot of fun just talking about Snape, as hard on him as I think I was. We'll see once I'm in the nitty-gritty of, reading and making notes and whatnot on his character, how any of that changes, if it does, or, if I'm even harsher on a reread. So we'll see. Anyway, if you liked this video, please like, share, subscribe, comment anything that you would like to share about your experiences. You can talk about, and it's Pride Month, so if you want to talk about, your experiences, if you are bisexual and if you are out and want to talk about those experiences, if you want to talk about the evolution of language in general, other terms that you have noticed an evolution of, whatever, comment, you can hit me up on Twitter if you would like. In the meantime, peace.